And you state your name and how old you are.
Kelly Kornfeld, 19 years old.
Where are you from?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And did you stay in the same city for most of your life, or have you moved around?
Yeah, we only moved once when I was 5. We moved from Menominee Falls to Sussex, which is just like 2 towns over. Okay, I'm mom, dad. I have 2 older brothers, 1 older sister. Oldest brother is 32, 33. Second brother is 30. My sister is 27, 26. Just kidding, and I'm 19.
Who do you see or talk to most often in your family?
My dad.
How would you describe the relationship with your siblings?
Very close. We're really close. We get along really well. It's hard because like the age barrier. I was like so much younger than them, but my sister and I are the closest.
About your parents, what's the relationship with them like?
I would say like I'm close with both of them. I'm kind of closer with my dad, but like we get along well. I mean, no like big family issues or anything.
Who would you say the most influential person in your life is?
I would say either my sister or my dad.
And why is that?
Well, my sister and I are just really close, like someone I can turn to, and like it's nice to have someone who's in this like the family, so that you can kind of vent about similar things that we've all gone through. But also my dad, because he just provides me with a lot of advice and someone that I really look up to as like a role model that I would want to be someone in the future. A lot of morals and values that he's like instilled in all of us that I appreciate.
How would you describe your childhood?
Happy, crazy, fun. In 3 words. Good. I feel like my mom worked a lot of the time. Well, she worked weekends. My dad was always away on business. Like when we were young, before like that was like our old house, and we moved when I was 5. So my mom worked weekends. My dad worked during the week and traveled. So like my sister, again, she was like we were really close. She like we always say that she like helped raise me like my mom. It was like fun, like crazy. We have like I feel like any typical like family stories. We have traveling stories, and then like I would say through like adolescent years, that's when like my brothers. I mean, they were so much older, so they were like already out. It was basically like me, my sister, my parents. And then my sister was in college. It was just like me and my parents. So like.
What would you say are the 3 most important moments in your life thus far, or 3 moments that have really stuck out to you?
One would be in middle school when we found out my brother was a heroin addict. So it was, that was a difficult time for my family going through that, but that was just like a big chunk of my life during that time. So that was like very influential for decisions that we made as a family and like family ties, and still like dealing with effects of that today. So I'd say that was pretty big. Another one would be finding out my parents are getting divorced this summer. And one just moving out, so that's like I feel like will be big especially when I go back for a summer. Like this is the first time that it'll be like different. So yeah, that was also big. Just like again, like how it kind of changes family dynamic. And then the third, I would say, well, I was always super independent, like ever like growing up and in high school. So I would say coming to college was like very good for me, and it reaffirms the fact that I like being independent as I always have been. So it's been super good for me, and I love being away from home, or I love being on my own, so yeah.
Yeah.
Erikson's theory of psychosocial development is a modification of Freud's psychosexual development theory. Erikson describes the development of one's personality in 8 stages throughout their life. The stage that Kelley is in now is identity versus role confusion. College is a very important time for the development of one's identity. According to Blimey in 2010, in his book, The Resident Assistant, students are simultaneously becoming independent, forming mature relationships, managing emotions, and managing themselves. It can be hard to figure out where you belong, and you can easily become confused. Kelley seems like she has a strong sense of self and has values that are very important to her.
Her name was Peyton, and we were friends from like kindergarten. We're still friends today, so she was like my one constant. She's very sweet. She's a slow eater. That's like a weird personality trait, but like I don't know why I always think that when I think of her. She's funny. Like we are very compatible. She's not as like wild and crazy as outgoing, I would say, like I am, but I don't know, just a very sweet, fun girl. Was Maggie. We like don't know when we became friends, but it was like sometime freshman year, and she was again like my one constant through all of high school. She's like loud and obnoxious and crazy. We got along well. It was kind of just like us through high school.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll just like talk about Jackie. But Jackie, she's super nice. Like she's such like a she can't say no type person, but she's also super funny and like laughs. She like makes me feel funnier because she'll like laugh at what I say, but she's also funny. Like we have quirky banter back and forth a lot of the times. Yeah.
Do you participate in other like athletic stuff in high school, and then are you involved in athletics now?
High school was just diving. It was club and high school. So like the high school season was like from August to November, and then club was like November to August. Like it was like year round. Now no. I thought about diving in college, and I looked here, and it was like the diving team was like one person and like 1 meter, and I was just like no.
Other like hobbies or activities, things that you like to do in your free time?
I still like to work out a lot here. Like I try and go every day, or at least like a couple times a week. It's just like a good break. I like to hammock. I like to hang out with friends a lot. I have a really good floor, like just, hang out in people's rooms. I like to Lime scooter to Forest Park. I did that on Sunday. So yeah, those are my activities.
In Gardner's multiple intelligences theory, being body smart connects to Kelley participating in sports and being comfortable in her own body's abilities. According to Cole III and Cook from Educating the Student Body in 2013, adequate daily physical activity improves cardiovascular health, metabolic health, brain and mental health, and musculoskeletal health benefits that recent research shows are gained across the lifespan. Her normal physical and motor development have been enhanced by her participation in sports in school and her active lifestyle. Being socially smart is also part of Gardner's multiple intelligences theory. Many college freshmen find it difficult to balance academics and their social life. They have the ideology of, I'm free, now where do I go? Kelley has strong social skills as she has developed a tight bond with people at SLU in her short time here. Her college friend group is telling of her ability to socially adapt to her environment. She also had a best friend in her earlier school years and is committed to keeping that relationship strong.
The transition from high school to college was for you?
Good. Very good. It was smooth. I like always wanted to go to college, and like I said, I was like super independent, so it was like very good for me. Like I didn't really have any problems, especially like after rushing and like being in a sorority, like finding something to do. I feel like it would have been different if I didn't like try and get involved and like do things like.
Did you think that like moving away from home was like harder, like leaving your family and your home friends who probably aren't anywhere near you for school? Like was that a little bit harder?
Like yeah, I was like sad to say goodbye, but like we're still in touch, and like I see them on breaks, and like I have a good friend group here, so it's like it's good to go back and forth. Like it wasn't like yay bye guys, I'm so excited. I mean it was like sad to be like oh bye home and like bye mom, but like it was like fine, like got over it.
Been like a most challenging part of college so far, or something you weren't expecting?
Definitely what I wasn't expecting was that like in college I feel like sometimes you're like at your highest of highs, and then like literally the next day you could be like at your lowest of lows. Like I feel like things are like yeah, do you get what I'm saying? I don't know, sometimes I like feel like that, and I like didn't expect it because I feel like you like shouldn't be like, because I'm like oh I have like so many people and so many things around me all the time, but sometimes I'm like yeah, this sucks. But other times I'm like I love this. I'd say like finding like a niche, or like not like friends necessarily, but like kind of finding. This sounds so cheesy, but it's like who you are, like finding like what you want to be, kind of, and like being that, and like not letting small things get to you, or like I guess it is like a transition from high school, because I feel like you think about like friend groups or like things that are supposed to be, but in college like. I like how there's not as many like expectations, I feel like, so it's like okay, you don't really, it's like interesting to transition from that, like kind of like a mindset of like how things should be.
Yeah. So what do you want to be when you grow up, and why have you chosen that career for yourself?
Right now I'm in nursing school, so a nurse, but then final destination would be a nurse practitioner. I've chosen that because I've always really been interested in nursing. My mom and my sisters are both like NICU nurses, and I became a CNA, and I've always like loved that aspect of medicine, but also helping people and being like I thought about other professions like pharmaceutical or pharmacy,
same thing.
Pharmacist, that's
yeah.
what it is. Or like doctor or anything, but I think I like just like the direct patient contact that nurses have, and then nurse practitioner because I want like more freedom and being able to do more, like prescribe medication, open my own clinic, things like that. So just having that freedom, but also for sure in the medical field, I've always found it super interesting. Even like being with in hospitals, like with my brother throughout his journey, like it was, I don't know, I liked the setting. So yeah.
In one of the best-known experiments in the history of psychology, Albert Bandura demonstrated that children learn and imitate behaviors they have observed in other people. This is illustrated during the famous Bobo doll experiment. Individuals that are observed are called models, and in society, children are surrounded by many influential models. These models can be anyone, but more often than not are individuals in their immediate world, such as parents and older siblings. Children are more likely to attend to and imitate those people they perceive as similar to themselves, and at a later time, they may imitate or copy the behaviors they have observed. Kelley displays this when talking about her future career plans and goals. She is close to her family, particularly her sister, and wants to be a nurse just like she is. Bandura states that children may imitate or copy behaviors they have observed. Kelley's desire to be a nurse may be heavily influenced by the fact that she has observed both her mother and her sister.
I was baptized Catholic. I've been Catholic my whole life. I would say it was always like very normal, like the typical child that's just like, up until like my high school, like sophomore year, my parents were very religious about going to like church every Sunday, and like so that was like always a thing. I was never like super strong in my faith or super against it. It was kind of just like, okay, yeah, like that's what I am. And then I would say my like faith life was the strongest going into junior year after I went on a mission trip every summer, and that mission trip just really stuck out for me. That's when my faith was like the strongest, and then actually going into college was when my faith was the weakest because, well, not faith, but I would say relationship to Catholicism. I just questioned Catholicism. So I like looked into different options and had like deep conversations with my family and like family friend who's a priest about it. But right now it's kind of just, I'm still like, I would still identify as Catholic, but I still do enjoy going to mass and like having a faith life. I do like, I know that that's an important aspect of my life, but it's not like something that's super like I think about every day. I don't know how else to say it. Like,
No, that
it's
makes
like
sense.
it's there, but it's not like my whole life. But I like having it.
What would you say like your core most important values are at this point in your life?
I would say compassion, honesty, justice. I don't know if this like, but just like having like personal relationships, like, and not intimate, but like good relationships, just like with those around you, like community, a sense of community, I guess.
In that time, did you attend like public or private school?
Private. I went to a K-8 Catholic like parish school,
Okay.
and then an all-girls Catholic high school, the Jesuit college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about your time in elementary school? Or I guess elementary school and middle school
It
since...
was fun. Like, it was a really small class. Like, it was, like, I think I graduated with, like, 28 people. So, like, it was literally, like, I had the same people from kindergarten to 8th grade. And, like, so I, like, knew, like, you literally knew everyone's family, which, like, I loved. I remember, like, just being in class with them, having fun, like, having best friends, like...
What do you remember most about high school? I know it was all girls.
It was fun not looking good because we just had like all the same like skirts and uniforms, so just like wake up 10 minutes before I left for school. It was like college prep. It's so annoying, but it was like hard. So I remember being like stressed out, but also a big part of high school was diving because I had done competitive cheerleading from 5th to freshman year. And I quit cheerleading to like pursue diving because I was on like I knew I wanted to do like a high school sport just to like get involved, and then I like fell in love with it, quit cheer, did high school and club diving. So like diving was like a huge part of my high school experience.